Hello, everyone. Jose J with Mobile Home Partners here. Got a very special person, Chimene interview. How are you, Chimene?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, am I pronouncing that right, by the way?
You are actually Schmidt.
Okay.
That is right.
I
Good
was
job.
misspelling it the whole time, but okay.
Great
So,
job.
so
To get
how
it
are you?
wrong.
How are you today? I know you're in Texas now.
Yeah, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Located east of Atlanta, like we mentioned. So I just met you about a month ago, I think, 2, 3 weeks ago, maybe, on
Mhm.
a video, through one of our other investors. But for those of you, for those out there who don't know who Chimene is, tell us about you.
Yeah, so I have already been featured on PBS, on the American Health Journal, talking about the benefit of home parks and mobile homes versus living in their regular homes, and kind of how we have all these trends happening in the US. I have wholesaled more than 300 mobile homes in 16 different states. I fixed and flipped over 787 units in 17 states. And I'm also international, doing holiday homes in Europe as well.
Wow, even more than I thought. Okay, that's great. Forbes, did you mention you've been mentioned on Forbes as well?
Um, yes. So I've been mentioned in a variety of different magazines. Yes. So I'm also I've been on several different magazines. I've been all over. I've been in Times Square already. All these things. I was on the cover of a magazine too. I actually was on the cover of it. It's been a really cool journey this year. I won Woman of the Year and Mentor of the Year for the Power Organization, which is the Professional Women of Excellence recognized. So yeah, things are just chugging along.
That is huge. That is
Thanks.
awesome. You're not just in the nation, but you're helping Europe now. So, what how hard is it to get to in other states? I mean, you're in another country now, so but to be able to do business outside of Texas.
Right. So basically, I mean, I don't find that it's that difficult, right? Like, obviously, you have to build a team and get boots on the ground there, which we've been able to do and well, because I kind of learned how to do that here in Texas first. And so kind of once you know how to build a team and once you know what to look for, it's pretty easy to replicate that and do it other places. So I've been able to do that as well. But you just have to make sure, obviously, that especially if you're wanting to own or finance mobile homes, that you know those states' requirements. I mean, every state has different usury laws, as you know, and usury laws are just telling you what the, like, basically what amount of interest, like, you can do 20% interest or 18% interest or whatever that interest is. You have to know what that is, so you make sure that you're obviously doing that, and you're following all of those guidelines as well. But other than that, it's been okay. I would definitely would say that mobile homes are not for the faint of heart. I mean, I see people out there every day, doing deals. The tragedy of it is that they do deals, but nobody's actually looked up the rules
Mhm.
or the regulations. After you start doing so many, and you're not doing them correctly, it could cause you a lot of problems. For instance, um, I know somebody who owner financed 3 mobile homes. So they bought them, they owner financed them. And because they did not close the home with an RMLO, which is a residential mortgage loan originator, which you have to do, you have to follow the SAFE Act, because they didn't do that. And because they didn't follow the rules, when they took the tenant's buyer, right, when they tried to foreclose on it or took them to court, the judge actually ruled in the owner finance buyer, the tenant's favor, because they didn't follow the law. So they got the mobile home, they lost it. And so it's like a really valuable lesson, because they look at it as predatory. And so if you do anything at all that they feel is predatory, then, you could really lose your assets. So I see people taking lots of risks that they shouldn't be taking.
Definitely lose your assets. Yes, that's a good point. Definitely something to know. And yeah, I mean, with every state, I mean, It's a lot of wording also that I've noticed it changes. I mean, with one of my partners, Levi, I know he was mentioning in Florida, he was trying to just get basic information and they were just like alien talk to them. And it was just because of the way it was worded.
Right.
So definitely, yeah, very good point. Laws and rules, learn that before anything. Before you
Mhm.
even try to learn the market, I mean, this is something you need to have.
Well, and make sure that the person that you're learning it from is, they know the rules. And so I think that Facebook groups are wonderful to help, but there's so many Facebook groups out there that are there that talk about mobile homes and they try to help people along the process. But there's so many things that they don't know
Hmm.
that then people end up getting hurt.
People are definitely jumping in. There's a lot more. When I started 5 years ago, it seemed like nobody was into mobile home.
I
No
started 5 years
wholesalers.
ago as well. Yep,
Did you?
exactly.
That's the next question for me. Yeah, but it seems like now I jump on Facebook and wholesalers everywhere. Everybody's selling a mobile home. Everybody's buying. Everybody knows everything. But that is true. Is that a lot of people are doing it and they don't know the first rules of it. So
No, they don't. And then they'll go and they'll do things like over rehab a home for a park and then lose money. I mean, they're not like houses. So there's all these things. And then I find too that in this industry, like any real estate industry too, you've got a lot of men with a lot of ego. And there's groups in particular on Facebook where they're always highlighting the men, but they never highlight the women, right? Because it's like, I mean, it really turns us ladies off. So, to that stuff, we're just like, really, come on. So yeah, so I'm always trying to encourage my ladies in my group, my students, hey, we're better relationship makers, we're better communicators. Like, we are so much better at this just because, we have typically those better gifts than men. We can go in and kind of make an emotional connection with people, and it really, really helps. So I know for me, I've made relationships with, like, all of my business has been on relationships. Everything that I built has been on relationships. And so I couldn't have built what I did without that. So it's super, super important. And I think sometimes a lot of men overlook that.
a lot of good points. Very, it definitely. And I think most deals anyway should be based on a relationship, whereas a lot more is just try to be in and out kind of thing. So definitely good. I was
Right.
going
And
to
it
ask.
should always be about helping people.
Mhm.
It should always be about helping people, right? Like, you're going in there, they have a problem, you want to solve it. You want to create a good situation for them where they're happy, but where you're happy as well, and you're making some money too. So each person wins in the deal. You can't just go in and be like the only one that wins in the deal, because then it's not a good deal.
Be for
So you
the
have to
people.
go in there, yeah, and be able to negotiate that and make sure that
Mhm. Yeah,
what that's about, like situation for each person.
on my questionnaire, that's actually one of the questions that I highlight on there is like, get slight personal with the seller. Many times they may not be losing out. It could be they're getting something bigger, they're transferring, there's something. So learn to congratulate or be there for them. And that in itself can mean you getting the deal or not over other buyers.
Right, exactly.
You slight mentioned it, but you said you started 5 years ago, Tavish? How did you get started? Why mobile homes?
Yeah, so I took my education through Elite Legacy, which was Rich Dad Education,
Me too.
and and then my mentor came out, and she came out in July, and then mobile homes was something that just started falling in my lap. So I my background is I have a BA in criminal justice. I've been a paralegal before, and I was able to navigate title issues really, really quickly. And a lot of people didn't want to deal with them. And then I had a lot of investment, their whole trailer trash mentality. People that live in mobile homes are trailer trash, that
Take
whole
one.
mentality, right? And so I had these investors started sending me all their leads. Next thing I know, I was just like, oh my God, like, there's really nobody in this space. I mean, the last person in this space was really Lonnie Scruggs. I mean, there's Mobile Home University, but they've gotten in trouble so many times, right? From stuff that they've done that they shouldn't have been doing. I didn't really look at them as a legitimate you know, that actually upholds my values and my ethics. And so they just fell into my lap, and I just took off with it. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I started doing.
And you've killed it and killing it.
Thank you.
That's great. Yeah. So no, definitely choose your education wisely. That is huge. Absolutely. You mentioned legacy, and that's actually who I went. Curious for a second. Who was your mentor through
Dr.
legacy?
Mary Jo Wilson.
I don't know that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some.
Who was your mentor? Who is your
Uh,
mentor?
well, right now, Trevor. I'm still doing with these people. Yeah, Trevor Evans. I don't know if you familiar with
Okay.
him.
All right. I've heard of him. I've heard of
Trevor.
Trevor.
And I mean, I connect with everybody at Staying Connection. Kim. I don't know if you know Kim also. So yeah, so we actually have a whole thing coming up. Kind of crazy to see what comes out of that, but yeah, so a lot of people within the mobile home community. But you mentioned, when you go, I did the same thing. I started visiting a lot of local RIAs, real estate connections, networking, the whole, and same thing. I would sit there and talk about mobile homes, and they would have this look of disgust, almost in a sense, the whole stigma that comes with it. But you cannot beat ROIs with real estate.
Yeah.
And to me, that was the whole thing. It's like, look, the numbers made sense.
Right. Oh yeah.
So
I've never gotten under a 3-digit return on my investment with mobile homes. Like my average mobile home return is about 110%. So, I mean, when you're looking at ROI and deals, yeah, it makes sense. And I love it too with houses. So I don't have to follow Dodd-Frank, which is amazing to me. Like, I don't want to have to deal with that. So because I'm doing, mobile homes, there's certain things that I don't have to deal with, right? That I really don't want to deal with. So I love that part about it. But yeah, and I always tell people too, like there's 2 stigmas that you need to lose when you're dealing with mobile homes. One is I have people say, oh my God, it was so trashy. I would never live there. And I tell people like, who are we as humans what somebody else can live in? I said a lot of people they may have $5,000 or $10,000. But they have the time and the skills to make that home literally beautiful. And that's all they can afford. Who am I to judge where and what somebody wants to live in and what they could fix up? It's the same thing as restoring an old car. How many junk cars do people buy from, from junk yards? And they restore them, and you would have never have thought that car would have looked like that, right? But dang, like maybe this is all the money they have in the world, but they have the skill to fix it up. So we need to get rid of that prejudice on our part about what we think people should live in. Because once you do that and you lose that prejudice, then you're like, okay, who am I? I'm going to put out there what I've got for sale. And if somebody wants to buy it, okay.
correct. No, and they obviously don't know. Usually, these are people who are not investors or no smartly investors, because you would see any asset, regardless of a mobile home, a car, or whatever it be, as again the returns on the investment or the numbers taken out. So, I like to think that I'm doing a good deed by rehabbing these homes and providing them. Not everybody
Yeah.
sees that way, but again, part of the stigma, I suppose.
Well, right. And it's affordable housing. So that's the other thing too, is that it's affordable housing. So you want to make sure that, you're providing that for people, because there really is no other affordable housing option in the US right now, except for mobile homes.
For anybody watching on here or sees
There
that
is none. It makes it really, right.
I
Right.
was going to say affordable housing is a trend that's picking up right now, by the way.
Yes,
So
it is. My business has increased. I'm sure yours has too during COVID. And
yes,
it's been great, because I've said this forever, like mobile homes are a recession-proof asset class. And the market has definitely proved this. So I know my business has increased by at least 60% during COVID. I'm sure that you're seeing the same uptick. So my issue is I can't provide homes fast enough for the people that want them. So yeah.
that's a good problem to have, and I have the same thing. Too many buyers, not enough product. I need more product.
Right, exactly.
So what are you mainly doing? Are you rehabbing and selling with a note financing or wholesaling
Yeah,
or?
so I still wholesale, right? I still go out there and wholesale. I mean, I like it because it's an easy 20 to 30 grand for me a month, right? To wholesale a few mobile homes, but the majority, we get the mobile homes, we get them rehabbed, and then we owner finance them out. I'm basically the bank for people. And so we owner finance them out. And so that's what we're doing.
What was those numbers you said on wholesale a month?
Oh, it's, to me, it's a quick 25 to 30K a month in wholesaling fee.
25 to 30. Amazing.
Yeah.
And this is within numerous states, of course.
Well, yeah, but yeah, yeah, if I counted all the states, it would be more than
Wow.
that. But like just where I live in Texas, I can easily do that a month, easily.
Wow,
Yeah.
very nice.
And I have a student that got, I think it was 12 or 14 mobile homes for free. And within her 2 weeks joining my course, her name's Danielle, within 2 weeks, she made over like $30,000. And she
Awesome.
got them for free, and she sold all of them for about 2 grand a piece.
Were these something she got maybe at a mobile home park community?
Yeah, she got a park. Yeah, she went out and made what I told him to do, and then she found a guy who said, "Great, I want all these out." And so she sold them for 2,000, and then that way the people could afford to have them moved off the lot, and then she wholesaled them all. He even gave her titles, so she got titles to all of
Oh
them.
man,
Oh yeah, had the titles and then killed it. And she was a realtor, and so now she's doing about $30,000 a month in mobile home deals where she lives.
that
I
is
mean,
impressive.
and she's a single mom. And so it's not, once you get comfortable, yeah. And then what I tell people is you become the go-to person in your market.
Correct, correct. Absolutely. How would you say is the best way of getting deals for you? Something that you're going to wholesale?
Yeah, so I get a lot of my deals from dealers who send me mobile homes where people, like, they come in and they want to upgrade to a new mobile home and they have an old one they need to get
Okay.
rid of. And so typically they'll send them to me. So they're either free or they need a cut. Yeah. So I go in there and then I buy those homes so they can get their new one and get it moved and all that stuff, find a buyer for it. And that's how I do it. The dealer doesn't want to mess with it.
Very
So I take
nice.
care of all of that. Yeah. So I've been able to make those relationships and do that.
Very good point. And to add back to the previous comment was on where she got titles and all. Again, it takes knowing what you're looking at to these homes because the majority of the people would say you can have what 12, 15, whatever free mobile homes. They would see as this is a pile of junk.
Mm-hmm.
She knew through your
Yeah.
course.
Well, that's what everybody else thought. They were just junk. And I'm like, well, to me, if you get them for free, even if you make $1,000 off of that home, and I guarantee you somebody will buy it for $1,000.
Oh, sure.
Holy crap. But the mobile home park owner he just didn't want to deal with it. He didn't want to deal
Right.
with it. So she did, and she went to town, and it was like, it's like free money. So yeah.
Definitely be a problem solver. One thing that I've noticed when I'm talking to a lot of these, not necessarily park managers, but park owners, it is not, kind of shocking in a way how little they know about a lot of this mobile home business and something like that. They don't know how to go about moving them, how to bring them in, a lot of this stuff. So it's a lot easier for them to many times just say, just here, take it and you deal with it.
Exactly. Just do whatever. Yeah. And he was really happy with how fast she moved him. So then he had 3 other parks, and now she's
Oh,
getting those mobile. I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, or he has friends that own mobile home parks that need. So it's truly about, so she's killing it. And that's just one of many examples, right? That you have. So yeah.
that is huge connection. I tell some of my students the same thing. Is like, what one mechanic knows? Another mechanic and another mechanic. That works the same way in mobile home parks. And this is why your network is because even if you fulfill the park, they may just know another park owner that they
Correct.
can bring you in. And
It
you,
needs help.
mhm,
Yes, exactly.
the power of networking.
Yes, that's exactly right too. So, but I think the first hurdle that students have is taking action. Like, they're just so scared to take action, to go out there and talk. And so, and you know, we were in legacy, right? So you know, I mean, 97% of students never even do a deal, which blows my mind.
That's sad.
You know,
Yes.
well, but it's true, I think, anywhere. You
Mhm.
know, you have, you know, that certain percentage of people that are at a point in their life where they're like, I'm just gonna go out and kill this and do it. And there's some that are just way too comfortable.
They are. You know, I've said that before, is you can basically give a true blueprint to somebody, but unless they want it,
Right.
it's just going to
Well,
sit.
exactly. Yeah. It can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? It's the same
Very good.
concept. Yeah, totally. You know, so it's the same thing. So yeah.
Taking action, definitely huge.
But
What would
Georgia is a great market, by the way.
Georgia?
Is a great market.
Georgia, Florida, right under us. Another market where I'm growing, and it just seems like some places it just goes and goes. So we're doing great in Florida as well. Yeah. What would you say to somebody getting started? I know taking action is huge, learning your education, but what would be one thing you could suggest to any new investor trying to come
So
up?
I think where you get a lot of people, they're like, I want to rehab, I want to fix and flip. And so I tell people, like, it's one step at a time. So what I would tell people is learn how to wholesale, get those deals down and figure out what it is that you're doing and learn how to do that. Learn of why P traps are different in houses and mobile homes. Like, figure that stuff out first, you know, kind of get a feel for your market, right? And when you wholesale, you can do that instead of just jumping in to do a fix and flip, because chances are they're going to lose a lot of money up front. And I know people who've been fix and flippers of houses and think they can go into mobile homes, and they totally over rehab. And then they're upset because they can't get their money out of it. And it's like, well,
It is usually I've
you know,
seen.
I made costly mistakes.
You know, funny you say that with real estate investors. Yes, it is usually that mentality of always them trying to feel like if this were my home, which is not how it works on that. But yeah, definitely. And that's, you know, that's actually something that I did when I first got started is I over rehab.
Right.
And I got my money back, but it was a learning experience very shortly. I started out as rentals, and this specific home was beautiful, like a house. And I remember 3 months, I think 3-ish months, they called me in for an issue, water leak or something. And I remember, you know, in my mind, I remember my house. So I go out there and I'm walking in and I'm seeing dog crap. I'm seeing all this and I thought, wow, like this is a beautiful home I spend.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
over rehab was definitely a learning experience. Yes.
Well, and then also too, I always tell my students, like, mobile homes is a market that you don't want to do rentals in. I just have not had good experience with rentals in this market. So I went after I got burned on my first three, I was just, and my mentor told me to focus on being the bank, and that's what I did. And that has definitely been my sweet spot, because if you're the bank, anything that goes wrong that they don't take care of, they have to fix. I mean, if we have a house and our mortgage is with Wells Fargo, we don't call up Wells Fargo and say, hey, my air conditioning went out, you need to fix it. You know, we have to do it ourselves. So we make sure those filters are changed. Well, I mean, come on, let's be honest. How many people have either you or your friend said, oh, I don't care, it's just a rental?
Hmm. That's the mentality.
I mean, like, conversation piece. Yeah, it's the same mentality. So rentals is not something I want to deal with in the mobile home space at all.
And that's how I started. They weren't bad tenants. I had a total of 10, but yes, after the first year, you get the calls at the worst time always.
Right.
And funny you mentioned that Wells Fargo comment, because I tell people, you know, with rent to owns financing, you know, you don't call Wells Fargo talking leaky toilet. You just fix it. It's your home.
It's your home, correct.
You get more money up front. You get a more serious person in the home, and it usually ends up working out because yes. So that's great points on that. You mentioned earlier market proof. Do you consider mobile home parks, mobile homes market proof,
Recession proof?
market crash proof?
Absolutely. Yes, I
Think
do.
so.
Yep, there's 3 asset classes in real estate that are pretty much recession proof. That's land, self-storage, and mobile homes or mobile home parks.
Self-storage, that's also something a very big interest of mine eventually is storage units. Storage, is that what we're referring to?
Right, exactly. And yeah, that's like, and then of course, raw land, right? So, I mean, you can never go wrong having raw land. So those are pretty much three recession-proof asset classes in real estate that you can have.
Oh, are you currently doing land as well? Land
Oh yeah,
development?
yeah. So I own 5 companies.
Ah,
So I have a land acquisitions company, and I do have a self storage company, and then my mobile homes, and then my educational platform, and then I own like a med spa. Completely different, right? But yeah. So I'm doing those things, but yeah.
I
So I
mean,
kind of dip in all areas. Yeah.
I mean, for 5 years into this, you're doing
Yeah.
amazing. It's
Thank you.
great. Okay, women can learn from you. There you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and I will
Perfect.
say this, most people I've blown out of the water. So I will have people like, oh, I've been doing this for 10 years and I've done 300. Okay. All right. Awesome.
Well,
Okay. Yeah, I've done over 1,000, but okay. Not to like brag, right? But like put it in perspective, of the way that, things go. So ladies, you can do this. I mean, seriously. So
hey, you've earned it. Own it. Absolutely. Do you see mobile homes becoming a worldwide thing?
I do. I
Think
do.
so.
I totally think it's going to be. Yeah, because I think there's need for affordable housing in every country.
Oh, absolutely.
And so if you can manage that, I'm actually working on some things to go global. And so we're working on proof of concept now in an area that we're working in another country. And then once we get proof of concept, then I'm going to try to approach the UN for funding.
Amazing. That is huge. Okay. I will definitely be getting with you on a few things after the call. I have a few ideas, I think. Let run them by you. I mean, you definitely have a good insight on that. But anything else you'd like to tell anybody getting started, coming into mobile home or investing period?
Not that I can think of. So just get out there and talk to people. That's
Take
really
action.
how easy it is. It
Take
really is.
action.
Yep. Take
Absolutely.
action and talk to people. Open your mouth.
Okay. Chimene, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Jose.
All right, and Jay with Mobile Home Partners here. And again, thank you, Chimene.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.